This is an Artin slot car lap counter. It has two channels, one for each lane, and it's normally using sensors which are like this. So sensors wired into these sockets on the front, one for each lane, and the sensing area of the unit is taped down onto the track, so when a car passes by it triggers the unit and counts down a lap each time the car passes by. I'm not sure how these work, but neither of the units I got with the unit I have work. I guess that the actual technology deteriorates through time to the point where it stops working. So obviously if you want to use the unit, it's better to change the way the sensor, the sensing is done. And initially what I did was I cut the unit off the end of the cable, standard cable plugs into the front of the unit, and when I touched the connections together, the lap count decreased one by each time I touched the two wires together, and that seemed to work fine. So I thought, well, normal sort of lap counting for slot cars is done by infrared optics, and so I wired in an infrared sensor like this to the two wires, and it works in the same sort of manner. When you shine a light or infrared beam and break the beam, the lap counting drops by one each time. So I haven't actually tried this on a track yet. I've just tried this, like as you can see here, in a sort of test situation to see if it worked. I've never actually progressed to the track situation. So if you are going to try this, well, I can't see why it wouldn't work. Obviously you need to have the gantry overhead, which would have the LED sources, infrared LED sources, pointing down onto each of the sensor units. So if you try it, come back and let me know. The standard unit as it arrived, some of these have a track section built in at the front of or attached to the units at the front here, and that seems to have a switch in each lane which acts as a sort of trigger. When the car comes along, the guide for the car triggers a switch in the slot, and that effectively is shorting together the wires of the input to each channel. So that is worked, and I guess that will be immune to the sort of ravages of time with these capacitive sensors or whatever they are. Sensors actually fold in, so if you're putting the unit away in storage for while you're not using it, obviously you pull that back in so it didn't come to any damage. But I guess the people will probably just put it back in the box and the thing gets bent or whatever, and something goes wrong with the circuit tracks in here or the capacitive surface or whatever. However, I say my two don't work. The counting and fanfare when the race ends and things like that all work fine with this unit. They seem to be fairly robust in that regard. I'll switch this on. I'll just quickly mention that I've got this wired up to crudely to a 6-volt power supply, which is here, and when you switch on, it comes up like this. For some reason you need to press reset every time, so press reset and it jumps to 99 laps. So if you want to do a race of fewer laps, then you have to count the number of laps down, the target number of laps down. So if you press this button, one for each lane, you have to do them separately. You can see it decrements the lap setting. If I hold the button down, it skips through more quickly. So if I want to do a 10-lap race, for instance, scoot away down, stop there, and then go one at a time to accurately get to 10 laps. You can actually set them differently, so if you had a sort of handicap situation, you might want one lane to be doing 15 laps and the other lane just doing 10, depending on the sort of skill level of the drivers. you know, sort of handicap situation, which is quite good, and that's easy enough to do. Nope, I missed 15, but 14 will do. And so then obviously the next thing you do is press the start button, and it starts the race. I'm just looking for my light source, which I've lost. Oh dear. Okay, so we're waiting for a car to come by. At the moment, there's too much ambient light for the sensor to work properly, so I'll just turn the lights off. And I'll shine the torch at the sensor, and as you can see, it counts down by 1, and then again, and so on. So every time the car passes, obviously we've only got the one sensor wired up here, so we're only seeing the one channel counting down. But we do that, and car. That signal indicates that it's the last lap, and here we go. And it looks like I won that race. So you can see that the channel which won the race is flashing, and the other one's waiting for it to finish, which I won't bother actually doing. But however, the purpose of the video is to show you what I did with the infrared sensor wired up, and I'll just show that in a bit more detail with the lights on. The 2 wires are going into the sensor, into the units, I should say, from the sensor. There's a 2-way plug, and it has one wire, one part which is all black, the wire, split wire here, and the other one is black and white. You can see the white tracer. Oh, sorry, I thought you could see that. You can see the tracer down the edge of the cable for the white section. Hopefully, you can see that. And the all black section is part of it also. So the white tracer side is the positive side. So you can see you can only plug in the plug one way round, which is that way. There's sort of a blocking bar to make sure you don't plug it in the wrong way around. So the white identified cable is the positive side of the input, and the black is the negative. So for the photodiode, the short leg goes to the black and white wire, and the long leg goes to the all black wire. Hopefully you can see that, and that's how it works. If you do it the wrong way around, I think you'll probably blow up the photodiode, so you need to be careful to get it the right way around, and it will work. I'm not sure. Shall I show you the connections underneath? It normally takes 4 batteries, 4 1.5 volt batteries, so that's 6 volts. So what I've done is solder a positive wire, red wire, onto the top connector there, and the black wire for the power supply onto the bottom connector there, this side. And that's the effectively positive and negative connections for the batteries. The batteries are all chained into one daisy chain, and so that's why I've soldered them to those 2 contacts. I say it's pretty crude connection at the moment. Obviously, you're setting this up on your track. You set up a bit more neatly with the power source if you're not using the batteries. And you could have a sort of plug and socket arrangement or whatever you wanted to do to make it a bit better, more robust. So, hope that's been helpful. I'm not sure if I've missed anything. Well, obviously if you want to start the race again, press reset, and it goes to the chosen number of laps, and it's press start again. So that could be a second race, or the next 2 pair of drivers, or whatever, or something, and away it goes. I'll just Right. As there's too much ambient light, we need to have the photodiode embedded in the track, and an overhead gantry shining an infrared LED source beam down to the photodiode. That way you would hopefully avoid any ambient light. But the ambient light situation is something you need to watch out for, obviously. Okay, I hope that's been helpful, and thank you for watching.